very interesting programme today looking at many of those issues and how we're addressing them. And research in which we are very heavily involved. We spent £1 million on research in the last 3 years alone. Research has now delivered most of the tools with which we can manage the condition. We are in sight of our goal to indefinitely postpone many of the symptoms connected with the condition. And we're currently planning an early intervention trial called TS Cure, which we hope will demonstrate once and for all that we can indeed look forward to a world where a diagnosis of TSC can be effectively managed. The third strand of what we do is hugely important and we hope will involve you all, and that is called TS Campaign. We have the tools to deliver the treatments we need, but we have a health service that is strapped for cash. And we now find bureaucrats using underhand methods to effectively deny access to effective treatments, basically because they're looking at the bottom line. Hence our hashtag Fight for Treatment and our determination to persuade the government to make the drug everolimus available to all in our community who will be helped by it. And you can all help with the hashtag Fight for Treatment. We've got some very nice communications people here today, Emma and Sarah and one or two others bombing around, and what they'd like to do is take your photo. If you've got a green badge on, we think you're fair game. There's a photo booth down at the end of the coffee area there, where you can go and do some Fight for Treatment recording. Communications people will be asking you all day about what the TSA has done for you and how it's helping you. And by the end of the day, you may be able to say more about that than you can at the beginning of the day. But your story is very important, because all of these stories we can take before major donors and funders and say, these are the people that you are helping when you give money to the TSA. So that's how you can be involved in campaigning today. You can also say how much you're enjoying the day at any time by joining the Twitter conversation, and the hashtag is there, hashtag TSA Big Day. So tweet along as you go, and that will all be gathered in cyberspace. The other thing that we have decided as a board to do just last night is we're going to have a go at fighting the Witney by-election, where David Cameron is standing down. We hope to put up a candidate in the NHS First Prescribe Everolimus for TSC party. The party has only just been formed. We are yet to find a candidate. There are one or two of us who'd love to do it, but we're not sure we'll get permission from our lords and masters to do so, but we'll see. But we very much hope that there'll be somebody on the ballot paper in Witney under the line I've just given you. So expect TSC to be making a big splash in the wider world in the days ahead. The by-election is on the 20th of October, so one or two of us think we're going to be in for a busy time, particularly our communications people who've had all their annual leave and weekend leave cancelled for the next 4 weeks. Well, that's the overview of the TSA and what we're trying to do. Let me now do the health and safety bit. The loos are out towards reception and then on the right. There is no fire alarm test scheduled for today, so if the fire alarm goes off, then the answer is to get out. If you're in here, it's out through those doors, and wherever you are, the staff will tell you how to get out. And if the alarm does go off, they'll be the ones rushing for the doors to open them for you, you understand, so that you can get out, not so that they can get out first themselves. And if you haven't yet managed to sign up for the workshops you'd like to do today, then do return to the registration desk over coffee and sign up for those. The reason we ask you to sign up is simply so that we can put the most popular workshops in the biggest rooms. Let me just tell you a little bit more about how the big day works. It is your day. There's lots to do in every minute of it, many people to hear and meet, and various options from which to choose those that will help you most. Wherever you are at any time, do feel free to take a break. We're very much a sort of free and easy association. Come and go from rooms as your needs dictate. We're very happy with comings and goings. First up this morning, we'll have Chris Kingswood, who'll update us with where we are with TSC research. Chris has been appearing at TSA conferences for more years than he cares to remember doing precisely this, and the news has got better and better and better as the years have gone by. We look forward very shortly to the latest update. And following Chris, we've got two other presenters this morning, and I'll introduce them as we come to them as well. Following that, those of you who are interested in our governance can stay in this room, and our AGM will immediately follow the research presentations. But if you aren't particularly interested in TSA governance yet and are here still finding your feet, don't feel that you have to stay for the AGM. There's coffee out there, the advisors will be out there, there's the researchers in the marketplace out there. You may feel that your time would be better off this year at least, spent milling around and getting to find your feet beyond those doors. The choice is entirely yours. So that's between whenever we finish here and 11:30, and then from 11:30 to 12:30 we have the workshop choices. You'll have found details of those in your pack, and these are the rooms where they're happening. So Benefits is in Marlborough, the Law in Hardy, Living with TSC in Victory, and Epilepsy here in Nelson. All the rooms are next door to each other along the corridor off the coffee area. So if you end up in the wrong one, you're not very far away from the right one. The workshops repeat again in the afternoon. So any of you can cover 2 out of the 4 topics. If you happen to come with a partner or a friend, then between you can cover all 4 if you'd like to do so. So 11:30 to 12:30 workshop choice, and then from 12:30 till 2 lunch, and when you've had lunch, more time to mill around the marketplace, talk to those who've been in the TSA a long time, chat to advisors, simply find the people who can give you the information and answer the questions that you really have and would like answered today. In the afternoon, we'll hear from 2 members of our community, and then we'll hear from Professor Ben Wally about a potential new treatment option for epilepsy ahead of our second round of workshop choices. The treatment option for epilepsy is really a very interesting one. It's got something to do with a derivative of cannabis, but with that hanging in the air and charging your imaginations, I look forward to having you all back in here to hear Professor Ben Wally this afternoon. At the end of the afternoon, Jane and I will take any questions that you have, and then round about 5 o'clock we'll send you all on your way rejoicing. But please don't go before you've got any questions that you brought with you today answered. And if anybody would like to have one-to-one time with Jane, 1 or 2 people have asked for that in the past, then Jane has a little diary here and she'll book you an appointment beyond 5 o'clock if you'd like to do so. So that's the plan for the day. Before we get going, I'd just like to introduce 3 or 4 people for you to put names to faces and perhaps speak to later. The first is my immediate predecessor as chair and current deputy chair, Philip Goldenberg. And Philip is due to stand down after about 10 years of being deputy chair or chair, because we make somebody a deputy chair, then they become chair, Then we retire them gently by making them deputy chair again. And Philip's about to stand down after 10 years or so in March. So wealth of experience here. Do have a word with Philip. Now, when Philip stands down in March, our intention is that he'll be replaced by Dr. Isabel Divana, who we've sought out as a potential future chair of the TSA. Isabel. And in her day job, Isabel is the commercial director of the Royal College of Obstetricians and Gynecologists, and she has connections with TSC through her previous employment and through her family in her native Portugal. So again, lots of experience here, and do chat to Isabel as you see her around today. Finally, I'd like to introduce Professor Patrick Bolton, who is a new member to our board since we met last year. And Patrick is the professor in child and adolescent neuropsychiatry at King's College London, and has a long-standing association with TSC and TSC research. And finally, for those of you who haven't yet met her, may I introduce our Chief Executive, Dr. Jane Spink, who's now going to tell you a little more about the TSA staff team and the changes there since we last met. Jane, over to you.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. It's great to see you all here. I'm going to keep the introductions going by giving a warm welcome to new members of staff who weren't here with us at our last AGM and family conference. And that's Claire Kirk, our new advisor in Northern Ireland, who's with us at the back here. Ooh, I thought that was all there. Catherine, who is our community fundraising officer. Is Catherine with us? Who many of you have met. She's outside. Sarah, who is here doing our live streaming. Hi. Hello. Who is our communications officer, and last but not least, Sophie, who is our new information officer. She's outside as well on registration. So please go and say hi to our new members of staff, and in fact, any member of staff. Well, that was the last year flashing before our eyes, and it was a really great and memorable year. So thank you to everyone who was part of our work and who supported the organisation. The first of the announcements that I have today relates to research projects funded during the 2016 round. And I have 3 new projects to announce. The first is Dr. Martin Barron at the University of Manchester, who's going to be working on regulation, the mechanisms that control the regulation of TSC signalling. Our second project is with Professor Simon Johnson at the University of Nottingham, who is going to be researching inflammatory cell recruitment to LAM nodules that drives tissue destruction in TSC lung disease. And that's a very long title, but basically he's looking at opportunities for drug repurposing, taking existing products and turning them into treatments for LAM and TSC. And Dr. Mark Nellis at the Erasmus Centre, who is looking at functional and structural characterisation of the TSC complex. So that's all about improving what we know about how variants in TSC1 and TSC2 lead to the features of TSC, and that's incredibly important work. And finally, I'd like to announce that Dr. Charlotte Tighe at King's College London is our first Kilmaine Family Fellow. And her project is designing a protocol to measure the developmental trajectory or path of infants with tuberous sclerosis, or for short, the EDITS study. And this fellowship has been made possible by an extremely generous donation by the Kilmaine family, and we're incredibly grateful that this has enabled us to continue funding so much high quality research. And for such a small organisation and a rare disease charity, we have a phenomenal and high quality research programme. I think it's quite possibly, in fact, no, take out quite possibly, I think it is the best research programme of any rare disease organisation, particularly of our size. Now, in the in the video, we saw that in 2015 we secured public commitments from NHS England to develop policies to allow for routine prescribing of everolimus in England. And we also had that commitment reiterated by a minister in the House of Commons and in various other communications from NHS England. And what we did secure was a protocol that allows for prescribing for cases in urgent and critical need of everolimus, and the publication of a policy position on the prescribing of everolimus for kidney tumours, AMLs. And although we were very positive of the possibility of the publication during the last financial year of a policy allowing for the routine prescribing of everolimus for the treatment of SAGA or brain tumours. Unfortunately, in June this year, in implementing a new prioritisation process, that's the way that NHS England decides which drugs and interventions it will fund and which ones it will not, NHS England determined that in its view that everolimus for inoperable SAGA is unaffordable, this is their words, and that it was of the highest possible cost and the lowest possible benefit. And we're simply staggered back by that. We just do not understand how, based on the evidence, anyone could reach that decision. And so that we've still got a long way to go and a short time to achieve it, because CPAG are re-meeting in the end of October to look at their prioritisation again. So what we really need everyone here to do, if you possibly can and will, is to join Fight for Treatment if you haven't already done so. And that means there are lots of ways you can help. You can write to your MP, you can go to your MP's surgery. Why not write to NHS England? Why not speak to your local press if you're willing? And we can support you to do that. Please don't feel that you have to do that alone. And also our comms team are looking for case studies, people who are willing to share their story of their fight for treatment or their need for treatment. And we will continue together to press for access until we achieve that goal. And we will also continue to press for more resources and better support for TS services, for our doctors, for our nurses, and for our NHS. Many of you have already signed this petition, and I was absolutely staggered. I was gobsmacked that in the first 4 days, 10,000 people signed our petition to make everolimus available in England for TSC-related brain SAGA tumours. Yes, do clap. It's all down to you. It's entirely down to the TSC community sharing, signing, promoting that petition, because without that we would have no signatures, and it's absolutely phenomenal. And we have had our response in writing, and anybody who signed that petition will have seen that response. We're not happy with it. We need to continue. Keep signing the petition, keep sharing the petition, keep on writing to your MPs, keep on making a fuss, keep on making a noise, because they need to know we're not going away.